You know, we've been in this quarantine since February or March. I don't know which one or the other. And we've all been going through some pretty rough times. So for some people, it's making their lives harder, and others, it's making it easier, or vice versa. But I just wonder, how is it quarantine? What would it be like if these insects were quarantining? But yet, what would it be like? What if we could experience what life is like as an insect? What's good, YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're watching this on? Welcome to my next video on Sterling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S. And today I'll be giving you my review on Disney Pixar's A Bug's Life as part of the Pixar animation series. Now, before I begin, if you are new to this video or to this series per se, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below, and most importantly, watch to the very end. And who knows? Maybe if you keep watching this, maybe an idea will sprout out of your head. Let's get to it. So, A Bug's Life. The second entry in Pixar Animation Studios' library sees Flik, who is an inventive ant who's always messing things up for his colony. His latest mishap was destroying the food stores that were supposed to be used to pay off Grasshopper, played by Kevin Spacey, voiced by Kevin Spacey. Now, the strong-arming insect is demanding that the ants gather double the food or face annihilation. However, to avert the disaster, Flik goes on a journey to recruit fighters to defend the colony. When he meets a band of high-flying circus insects, he thinks he has found salvation. The story. Here's my take on the story. Now, Toy Story may have been a win-win for Pixar Animation, serving as both a great first impression with the new type of art and just a fan favorite in general. I have seen each of the Pixar films several times. A Bug's Life, this is my second time watching it tonight, included, and I wasn't really hooked to that movie. I think part of the reason is because it's not the fact that A Bug's Life is one of those movies, one of the Pixar movies that you've forgotten about because, one, it's never gotten a 4K remastering version. Like, you know how when you get any old Disney movie, they have the modern, it's digitally remastered, but A Bug's Life isn't like that. It's got the same VHS version. It's still good. Don't worry. It's still clear if you were to watch it now on a Fire Stick or whatever, or Apple TV. But my thing is, like, A Bug's Life is not, the problem with it was not because of the what if for the story, but rather the quality of the story. See, clearly the movie is so titled because of how we get to see life from the perspective of an insect, just like how we saw it from the perspective of a toy. See, according to Rotten Tomatoes, they state that A Bug's Life is pretty much a retelling of the Aesop fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper, and that is very self-explanatory. Just like A Bug's Life, it is about an ant and a grasshopper. Well, ants and grasshoppers. It's like a war between ants and grasshoppers. Grasshoppers come over there because these ants build up food storage for these grasshoppers so they can come out by and eat it. And if they don't get it, they serve as these masters and oppressors and supremacists. But the plot is one of those race against time sort of things where the protagonist is desperate to find somebody to help to protect their kingdom from the imminent danger. Though the lesson that the story provides is having crazy ideas that can actually work. And little did he know that the idea to find so-called warrior insects that turned out to be circus bugs could actually benefit the colony. The characters. The characters in A Bug's Life were not as compelling as the ones in Toy Story either. However, Flik is a character that shows and expresses ideas easily, only to be turned down by the rest of his fellow ants. Each of the ants are pretty much resent Flik for his ideas and thinks that they are fruitless. The best ideas that help the story come from the circus bugs, such as Ladybug, who is really a male, or Rosie, the Black Widow spider, who is really a widow because she's single. She's lost her husband. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in my review of the first Toy Story movie, but I love these Pixar villains because they are seemingly reminiscent of some of the more recent ones that came from Marvel Studios. Very empathetic, and you can justify with their purpose and motives. Hopper may not be as psychotic as Sid was in the first Toy Story movie, but to be a grasshopper of his word and his determination to bring destruction towards the ant colony makes this Pixar antagonist very direct and very certain. Rotten Tomatoes gives A Bug's Life a 92% score. Not a perfect score, but it's still over 90. A Bug's Life may have continued to take this new animation tradition to a next step, but it does not hit home as much as Toy Story did. However, it has a relatable protagonist, one who is very flawed and clumsy and idealistic, yet turned down and rejected several times, entertaining supporting characters, and a nice lesson in ideas and how the incomprehensible ones can actually work. So I will give this movie 7 SOs out of 10. It wasn't better than Toy Story, but it was okay. And I think the first time I watched it, it was all right. But I guess since I'm watching it from the eye of a critic, from the mind of a critic, it's just okay, because I guess I've been so used to, like, throughout childhood, we've been so used to seeing all these different takes on animated adventures on an ant colony. Like, you had Ants by DreamWorks, and then you had The Ant Bully, which is the one I like better than A Bug's Life and this. But I think one thing that made Toy Story, I felt that made Toy Story work and not this, was that Toy Story was very an out of the thinking outside of the box idea. Like, I think anybody could have came up with exploring the life of an insect, but I don't think anybody would have thought of bringing toys to life. So I guess, as far as ideas go, the best ideas are the ones that are simply out of the box. I learned that from a wise person who brought me into this world. So that is my review on A Bug's Life. You can let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time on my next video. Bye.